what is going on here in the city, where can they contact?
Well, they can contact Carmen Valdez at City Hall. She's our liaison with the city.
Okay.
And 1776 is still a viable number. It starts with the 262s.
City Hall is 586-3000, and they can ask for Carmen Valdez. Then.
Right.
Yes.
That's correct.
Good.
Well, Denny, you really are a part of the fabric of our community here, and a part of service. I have a legacy of that. Whether it be serving in a political role, whether it be helping get the city off the ground and incorporated, or out of the throes of San Jose.
And don't forget, he wears his Rotary pin.
That's right, or as a volunteer and Rotary, and folks will see you around town at different events, and you continue to support this community. You're an important part of what makes Milpitas special, so thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much for
your time,
allowing
Denny.
me to be
Appreciate
here.
it. Yeah.
And so I'm sure you'd welcome folks coming up and just chatting to you, learn a little bit more about Milpitas.
I don't have a problem with it.
He doesn't bite. So thanks again, Denny.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that thing getting closer? Look how high that thing's going. Look out there. Look at the debris.
Give me the camera.
No, just drive. I've got it.
Zoom in, zoom in.
I can't believe this is happening.
Oh, the size of that thing.
It's everywhere.
Are you getting this?
Yeah, I've got it. What was that?
It's the National Guard.
How'd they get here so fast?
I don't know.
Pull over. Pull over.
Do you have what it takes to head into the heart of the storm? Check out NationalGuard.com.
Never look a howler monkey in the eye. We built the entire library out of recycled bottles. Fried ants are delicious. We finished a clinic in a rainstorm.
Really?
That was a confidence builder. My students actually ended up teaching me. So I learned this dance. I'll show you this dance. In la keg, a la king. The classroom was more of a class tent. I think managing a sales team is tough. Try working with 5 different villages. My alarm clock was a rooster. Beans for breakfast, beans for lunch, beans for dinner, and we ate a lot of beans. I learned a 3rd language. My seatmate on the bus was a goat. Always include the village elders, always. My morning commute was by canoe. After 2 months, I was ready to quit, but after 2 years, I didn't want to leave. I didn't know I had it in me.
Turn 2 years of service into a lifetime of experience. To all the Peace Corps volunteers, past, present, and future, thank you for your service to your country and the world.
Welcome back, everyone. You're watching Valley Homes on TV. We just saw a guest here, Denny Weisgerber, of our founding fathers from the city of Milpitas, and it was great. Todd, I am blessed because as I grew up in the city, I grew up 1 street away from Denny. I grew up on Butler Street.
Oh, okay.
And Denny's house was on Casper Street. So our household was in that motion of the Minuteman. I was young and didn't understand all of it, but certainly got caught in the whirlwind of all the activity of the city at that time.
Well, yeah, it's fascinating just to sit and listen to Denny, tell the tale of that. And, we have just limited time here on the show, but, it's a great story. And it took a lot of dedication from a lot of folks to make that happen.
And offline, we were just talking about his humility. He is a decorated war hero. He saved 2 men's lives, so he is an incredible individual.
Absolutely. Again, Milpitas is fortunate to have Denny as one of our own. So let's talk a little bit about what's happening with the market.
I'd love to. Let's see. Have did we talk about the open house? Yes, I think we did. What I have are statistics from the board for the average home sales.
Okay,
we haven't talked about that for a couple months. So let's, real quick, November stats saw the average price at $567,000 and median price at $540,000 for a single-family home. And a year ago, it was $503,000 for an average price and $450,000 for a median price. So there's a huge difference. Now the condo market moved downward actually. In November of 2009, it was $331,000 for an average price. The average price in November is $272,000. So let's check December stats, which are a little bit more current because we're in the month of January. And December last month, 575,000 average price for single family, 505 for medium price, and in December of 09 it was 591 for an average price and 560 for medium. Boy, that really just shifts all over. I guess what that does is it's driven by the sales data at that time, which could be limited.
Yes.
So you have to kind of look at more of a long-term average. But
Right.
you can see that we're hovering around the mid 500s right now.
Well, one of the things that I've seen here recently is the volume of sales is down over what it has been in prior years. And so what that does is it adds additional volatilities to the numbers because there's not as many sales.
Right.
So one or two different sales could skew those averages.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's look real quick on today's MLS. There's 57 active listings, 73 pending, and 134 sold in the last 6 months, of which 63 are under 500,000. And then a year ago, there were 40 active listings, so the inventory is rising, 113 pending sales, and 137 closed in the last 6 months, and 73 were under 500. Townhomes, 56 active, 44 pending, and 69 closed in the last 6 months. A year ago, 23 active, 68 pending, and 53 closed in the last 6 months. I'd say the market, for the most part, is pretty steady. However, I talked about that flurry of pickup in the last 2-3 weeks. I have an open house scheduled this Sunday, so I'll be able to report in if what I think to be true. We have a job market increase here in the valley that's being predicted. We've got a lot of movement in the economic indicators which show signs of recovery. I think that's going to translate into a better housing market. And I might add also, Todd, that I heard a report that the amount of foreclosures or the amount of notices of default that are filed in Santa Clara County are down.
Okay.
They're down by about 18% over what they were a year ago. So that's good news.
So banks are working through some of that inventory.
Banks are, or folks are holding on to their homes, or they're getting reemployed again.
So number
doing
of
those
things
loan
happen.
modifications, whatever it takes.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's good time in the market though to buy because we start to see prices kind of go up a little bit. The other thing to keep in mind is interest rates are historically low, but we've been starting to see them creep up a little bit, and the Fannie Mae has put out some news that they're going to increase some of the fees associated with loans here this spring as well, beginning April 1st. What they refer to as loan level price adjustments. All right?
What kind of fees are they increasing?
Well, what they're looking at is the risk associated with a particular loan.
So what would that be in terms of a dollar amount for a buyer?
Well, they're looking to increase the equity position that people have in a property to make that. So that's the down payment, going from 20 to 25%.
Wow.
Now, you can still do 20% down payment, but it'll cost you a little bit more, about a quarter of a point in fees.
Wow.
To have a 20% down as opposed to 25%
In the old days,
down.
it was if you had 5 or 10% down, you'd pay a higher. So it's even at 20%.
Right. So so there are some increases for the equity position. So if you have only 20% down, a little bit more expensive. Credit scores as well. 740 is the magic number. Now you have to be over 740. It used to be you can go down to 700 and not have any add-ons.
Okay.
But you drop below 740 now, and they're going to start to have some add-ons to the rates. Property type, it was a condominium, increased down payment requirements, or you're going to have, again, an add-on to the fees.
The net result is lending is going to get even stricter, tighter.
Yeah, it's going to get a little bit more expensive as the risk profile for that loan increases. So it's important to plan ahead for that and know what those costs are going to be, and don't get swayed by some of the advertising you hear about. Hey, this is the lowest rate, because it may not be available in quite the way that's presented up front. So you got to check out real closely what all the specific indicators are for your situation.
What's driving the changes in the lenders market? Is that from the feds, do you think?
Yeah, it's from Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. They're the primary motivators behind that. And so what they're doing is they're looking at loans that are having problems, what are the risk factors associated with that, and making adjustments in that pricing to compensate for that. So if they're seeing late payments in a particular area, well, price goes up to cover for that for the investors on the other end. So.
Where are we at with interest rates?
Well, we're still in the high 4s, 4 7/8, with no points right now. It translates to an APR of just over 5.087 is the APR. But interest rate market is quite volatile. I've seen it swing as much as 1/4% within a week. And on some days, we're getting different rates posted 2, 3, sometimes 4 times a day because of volatility in the market.
Well, you know, over the course of the years, we've talked about those economic signs, and when we see the stock market rise, we typically see the interest rates
that's correct.
rise. And is that what? Of course, we've seen some great activity last month here in the stock market.
The stock market is top 1,200 for the first time in the last 2 years.
Do you expect then, to see a bump now in the interest rates, or?
Yeah, I think it'll have an impact on that because all investors are looking for where is their rate of return. All right, and we've talked many times on this show before about that tug of war for where does money go and what's the cost of money. And so if someone can get a little bit greater return in the stock market, that means you're going to have to pay a little bit higher interest rate to borrow. That's the bottom line.
All right. Well, Elrin is giving me the high sign here, so.
Terrific. Well, till next time.
Yes, I think it's going to be an exciting 2011. We're well underway, and you and I are both busy, and I think it's going to be good. And anybody out there looking to buy, I think there are opportunities still presenting.
Terrific. Yes, exactly. So, folks have questions about the show, want to give us input. How do they get in contact with you?
Right. You can reach me at Giordano, GIORDANODJ @AOL.com. Send me your questions. We'll be sure to answer them for you.
All right, terrific. Well, until next time.
Todd, do you want to give your information?
Email is Todd, TODD, @sternmortgage.com, STERNMORTGAGE.com.
Great. Until next time, we'll see you soon.
Terrific.
Thank you.
Does retirement have to wait until my 70s? Is a great college for our kids?
Out of the question. Will I always be working weekends just to stay out of debt?
Is the American dream
out of our reach?
Not if we can help it. We're the National Endowment for Financial Education, a non-profit organization dedicated to helping people just like you get smart about their money. Log on to smartaboutmoney.org today and start taking control of your financial life. Help is closer than you think.
Never look a howler monkey in the eye. We built the entire library out of recycled bottles. Fried ants are delicious.
We finished a clinic in a rainstorm.
Really?
That was a confidence builder. My students actually ended up teaching me. So I learned this dance. I'll show you this dance. In la keg, a la king. The classroom was more of a class tent. Think managing a sales team is tough. Try working with 5 different villages. My alarm clock was a rooster. Beans for breakfast, beans for lunch, beans for dinner, and we ate a lot of beans. I learned a 3rd language.
My seatmate on the bus was a goat.
Always include the village elders. Always. My morning commute was by canoe. After 2 months, I was ready to quit, but after 2 years,